So I guess to start out, do you want to tell me sort of how you first conceived the idea to make an entire documentary on this subject?
I can't even claim the conception of the title. Misery Loves Comedy was created by Becky Newhall, who is one of our financiers and producers on the film. She started to develop the idea of doing a documentary about stand-up comedians who suffer from clinical depression. She met a producer, Burton Ritchie, that I've been working with in developing a screenplay that I wrote for me to direct. And he knew that I've been interviewing famous people on my award-winning internet talk show called Kevin Pollak's Chat Show for going on 6 years, and that I wanted to direct, and that I had been in stand-up comedy my whole life, so it seemed like a perfect storm. So that's the genesis, and then I stole it away from them and made it my own.
There you go. I mean, obviously you do have connections because there's so many people.
It's
How
a little
many
weird.
people do you even interview in there?
It ended up being around 70.
Wow.
I think 63 in the film. 70 hours of interviews somehow edited down to 94 minutes. That was the impossible
That's
task.
crazy.
Yeah.
So is this a question that you guys as comedians get asked often, to sort of plumb the depths of your emotions and interviews and stuff? Do people assume that you...
They do assume.
They do?
Yeah.
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 No, I remember my first performance at the Groundlings, or my first performance class, that teacher said, "That was really good. You must be really..."
First thing.
But you can't. That's
First
the first
thing.
thing she said, and I went, "I'm not. I don't think. Am I? I am. I don't think I am." Why? Yeah. But that is so. It's.
But then you
it's an
became
assumption.
up based on that comment.
That's right.
I had
Right.
to start abusing myself in different ways in order to justify being good.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, the work got better. And
Yeah.
here it is.
We all think we're normal. We all think we're normal until someone points out that we're not. Yeah. No. The truth is, everyone suffers from misery, and people in comedy. You know, it's not just about stand-up comedians. People who sort of devoted their life to storytelling, mostly comedic. We have to be able to articulate our misery. That's
Right.
and use it as therapy and all those things.
Do you think that's, through working on this project, is that what you sort of discovered, why that there's the correlation between people making that assumption, because comedians are more open about everything in general?
Kevin, hit it.
I mean, ultimately, I think everyone suffers from the same form, no matter what you do, whether you're multi-billionaire or whether you're working at McDonald's. And I'm not saying working at McDonald's is the lowest, but like, you know, if you're working at McDonald's, you're like, you don't get up in the morning and go, "I can't wait." You're like, damn it, it's something I have to do. In the range of all those people, we all suffer from common unhappiness. It is impossible to live at 100 all the time. You can't always be good, you can't always be happy and stuff. So all of us suffer from common unhappiness. People in the arts, they dial it up because everything's very extreme. So in a world where you can stand in front of people and be like, "This really weird thing happened to me," and just tell a common anecdote that anyone would, something happened in the food store, and then try to inject it with enough life and comedy and whatnot, suddenly you got people going like, "Oh, ha, ha, ha," and taking a bite out of it makes their day a little bit better. But at the same time, I forgot where I was going. I put myself in a pothole.
That's great.
I forgot what I was talking about. What
But
was your
you
question?
still made a beautifully
but-
articulate point.
Yeah.
I gotta sew it up though. What was
But you
it?
also say you're not a miserable person, though.
Yes.
But
Common
you're not.
unhappiness. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That you're on this planet. It's not an easy planet. So I actually think it's a wonderful coping mechanism. That if
Extraordinary.
that it's to be able to laugh at unpleasant things, and I think that's why people love really good comedians, really good stand-ups.
Yeah.
That's unbelievably.
Maria Bamford in the film talks about having been in
Yeah.
a psych ward and being able to go on stage as a stand-up and first with a shaky voice talk about it, and then eventually get so comfortable talking about it that she says, "So you're in a psych ward, as you do." But the point is,
Oh yeah, I love that.
and then she's grateful that comedy gave her that outlet to talk about arguably the most painful misery she's ever known. So there's maybe the best side of all this.
No,
Cheap
it's
form of
great.
therapy, man. Like most people pay a lot of money to go talk to a stranger and tell them that you jump up in front of people and just start unleashing. And like a couple of years ago, I got booted off a plane. They were like, "You're too fat." It was really embarrassing.
Oh, I heard about that.
A few people.
You might have.
I tried to keep it on the down low. But when it happened, like in a real first world problem kind of way, that was the worst thing that ever happened to me. So number one, you're like, you're doing well if that's the worst thing. But that was the chink in my armor, man. I'm like, what? They know I'm fat? And I was so like sad about it and stuff. The moment I got up on stage and started talking about it, it just became a bit. It just became a story, an anecdote, you know, and I could control the tone and pace and give it a happy ending if I want to, by virtue of the fact that it's been months since it happened. And so dealing with that sort of stuff, like, you know, cheaper than going to a stranger who just nods at you a lot. You know, you
Yeah.
get to say it to people who are laughing and interacting with what you're saying.
That's the
and you
thrill.
also know you're unleashing something for them too, because they're like, oh, I guess you could talk about that.
Yeah,
now.
that's the thrill for the audience, is that they see you bare your soul. And if the film can offer anything, it's that experience of these wildly famous, funny people sort of bearing their soul in real ways, not creating art. It gets sort of invented by them merely sharing what they've been through to get to this place. And then that becomes a film, and then that is either art or it isn't. But yeah, to be able to stand in front of people and share your misery in any capacity, or at a computer writing. In the case of The Comeback, this season, you know, for Lisa, had tremendous laughs and tremendous pain. And that's just nearly impossible to have people allow you to do within a television program.
That's the dream. Even people that do sitcoms would tell you, like, look, I love making people laugh, but like making them
Feel
well
something.
up, making them glass over, making their voice crack, making them go back because that moment was so strong. That's you'd love the balance. You'd love to be able to do both.
You mentioned The Comeback. I was thinking about how your character on the show strives so hard to like hide her pain.
Yeah, make everything okay.
Right.
Everything she says is like a sitcom punchline. Yeah.
Do you guys ever feel like that? I mean, even walking down the street, like a pressure to sort of seem like funny or cheery all the time.
But who doesn't? I mean, you know, as a mom at school, that's what I learned that from the other moms. You know, that's like, oh, can't read, might get held back. That's my kid. You know. Like, well, that's
Put on a happy face.
Yeah. So we don't. All right. I mean, I didn't get much traction when I would say, well, I'm honestly concerned about blankety blank. It's like, yeah, all right. Well, enough of that. Like no one wants it.
That's
no
too
one
real for
wants
them.
it. Yeah.
They'd rather be like flip about
Like,
it.
like it's not okay.
And so comedy is one of the few places that doesn't really exist, is kind of what you were saying.
You can make it okay for everyone.
Right.
You can make it
Yeah.
okay for yourself and for the audience listening. It's okay that we're going through this painful thing that I'm about to tell you, because it's funny.
And because it's over, and I got through it.
There's
and
an
it didn't
unspoken
kill me, and it
contract
didn't.
like that.
And
Like I'm here,
I'm
so
here.
it's not going to be a sad story. So
Yeah.
and so even as bad as the story gets, we're like, no way, that happened to you. They know the fact that you're standing there telling the story is going to sum up nicely.
Yes,
You
that
may
you're
not
okay.
win, but you're okay.
They didn't destroy you.
And when we say they, you know who we mean.
Yeah.
And you, of course, dedicated
I
this.
don't know who we meant, but
You dedicated this to Robin Williams. Can you
Yeah.
talk about why you decided to do that and what his sort of legacy has to do with the movie?
Yeah, I mean, I'm from San Francisco, and I started stand-up comedy there when I was 20. And at that time, he had just popped on Mork and Mindy, and he had started his stand-up comedy career in San Francisco. So he devoted a lot of time to not just being there and raising a family, but also in the comedy community. He was a tremendous friend and mentor of mine, and we were in 3 or 4 conversations on the phone about him being in the movie. But I had 4 5-day weeks. I could only shoot Monday through Friday, and he was shooting 16-hour days on the TV show. And the pain and misery he shared on the phone with me, just in the frustration of not being able to participate, because we'd been close for a long, long time. And he has this great moment in this HBO stand-up comedy special of mine where I'm looking into a mirror and telling the audience how I learned to do an impersonation, and I'm looking in the mirror, whoa, that's not it, whoa, that's not it. Oh, damn it, how do you do it? And the camera pulls back and he's standing right there. And it says, no, don't grab yourself, what's the matter with you? So he's been an incredible mentor and friend, and so yeah, dedicating the film to him was a very special thing I could do, and an honor. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for coming by. Good luck with the premiere.
Thank you.
Thanks.